Hey, 49ers fans. Today we're diving deep into everything happening with our San Francisco 49ers, and I promise you, there's a lot to unpack. The main topic buzzing around the league right now is Robert Saleh, the defensive mastermind of our team. Saleh has been a central figure in conversations about potential head coaching candidates this offseason, and honestly, it feels like it is only a matter of time before his name pops up for multiple openings. Considering his track record and defensive acumen, it is hard to imagine him not being in the conversation for head coach positions, especially with some teams currently struggling and looking to rebuild. Already, there are openings across the NFL, and more are expected as teams continue to make changes following disappointing seasons. From Tennessee to the New York Giants, there are several organizations that could be a perfect fit for someone with Saleh's experience and leadership qualities. But here's the interesting part. Saleh is likely being very selective about his next move. Having experienced the turbulence of working with the New York Jets, a franchise plagued by instability, poor ownership, and inconsistent structure, Saleh knows the importance of a strong foundation when considering his next opportunity. His time in New York was cut short, and while the defensive unit flourished under his guidance, the surrounding circumstances made it impossible for long-term success. Saleh's reputation, however, has remained untarnished. Former Jets players, as well as players currently on the Niners roster, speak highly of his leadership, his energy, and his ability to maximize player potential. He commands respect on the sideline, inspires those around him, and continues to impress with his strategic mind. The combination of his NFL-level experience and his connections within the Shanahan and McVay coaching trees makes him an appealing candidate, capable of assembling a strong and cohesive coaching staff wherever he lands. One of the reasons Saleh is so highly regarded is the way he develops talent. He has a proven history of taking players and elevating their performance to career-defining levels, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. Even when facing setbacks, like losing key players such as Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, Saleh has managed to maintain a competitive unit, blending experience with young talent and adapting his schemes to fit the roster. This year, despite all challenges, the Niners' defense has been holding strong, ranking 15th in points allowed per game and maintaining solid red zone efficiency. These numbers, combined with the respect he commands from his players, highlight why Saleh is a prime candidate for head coaching opportunities. On the flip side, there are factors that could slow his departure or influence his decision. For one, teams looking for a head coach might prioritize someone with an offensive mindset, which is increasingly in demand in today's NFL. Additionally, the stability and resources offered by a prospective organization will weigh heavily on his choice, as Saleh experienced firsthand the volatility of a poorly managed franchise. That said, his skill set and reputation make it nearly certain that multiple teams will want to bring him in, and his ability to find and work with top-tier offensive coordinators only increases his value. While Saleh's potential exit looms, the Niners have options in place to maintain defensive continuity. Internally, Gus Bradley, currently assistant head coach of the defense, presents a promising successor who has the experience and familiarity with the system to step in if Saleh moves on. Bradley's previous head coaching experience with the Jaguars and his years as a defensive coordinator across the league make him a logical choice to maintain consistency and minimize disruption. Additionally, rising internal talent like KJ Wright, now serving as a defensive quality control coach, mirrors the trajectory of past coaches who have advanced within the organization, demonstrating that the Niners have a pipeline of capable leaders ready to step up. Beyond defensive considerations, the conversation around the team's future also includes quarterback scenarios, most notably the role of Mac Jones. With teams potentially in need of a quarterback in the upcoming offseason, the Niners could find themselves in a strong position to leverage trade opportunities or retain a secure starter at a very reasonable cap hit. Mac has proven himself this year, showing remarkable growth and resilience despite injuries to key offensive personnel and a patchwork offensive line. His ability to manage the pocket, distribute the ball effectively, and lead the team to victories has only enhanced his trade value, making him an attractive option for teams seeking stability under center. The challenge for the Niners will be deciding whether to capitalize on his value for future draft picks or maintain him as a cost-controlled asset with high upside. This decision will have implications not just for the quarterback position, but for the overall roster construction and long-term strategy of the franchise. Kyle Shanahan's approach to developing quarterbacks, including young players like Curtis Rohr, highlights the team's commitment to nurturing talent and building depth. Rohr, rehabbing from injury, represents another intriguing piece of the puzzle, offering potential as a future starter under Shanahan's guidance. Coupled with the possibility of exploring additional quarterback acquisitions or draft selections, the Niners have multiple avenues to secure the most advantageous combination of talent and value at the position. The quarterback conversation also intersects with potential trade scenarios and the evaluation of the upcoming quarterback draft class. With some top prospects possibly returning to school, the 2026 draft could present a thinner field than initially expected, which further elevates the importance of strategic decisions regarding current players like Mac Jones. For teams looking to address the quarterback position immediately, acquiring a proven starter like Mac, especially at a manageable contract, could be a game-changing move. On the flip side, the Niners have the flexibility to retain him and continue building around a competitive roster, blending veteran presence with developmental talent. The balancing act between short-term success and long-term planning is critical, and the team's front office will have to weigh trade value, contract considerations, and roster depth carefully. In parallel, the team's defensive strategy remains a focal point, particularly in terms of rushing defense. Recent draft decisions indicate that the Niners are emphasizing improvements in this area, recognizing the need to build a unit capable of countering both elite ground attacks and versatile offensive schemes. Atlanta's struggles against the run this season highlight the importance of this focus, as the league continues to evolve with offenses that are multifaceted and fast-paced. The defensive front, pass rush efficiency, and scheme adaptability will all play a role in how effectively the Niners can compete in the coming years. As we continue to break down the Niners landscape heading into the offseason, one of the biggest talking points is Mac Jones and the possibilities surrounding his future with the team. This season has been a pivotal one for Mac, proving that he can be a legitimate starter at the NFL level. Despite facing injuries across the roster and inconsistencies in the offensive line, Mac has shown remarkable composure in the pocket, excellent field vision, and the ability to distribute the ball to his playmakers effectively. He has developed chemistry with the receiving core and has demonstrated a willingness to push the ball downfield, keeping defenses on their toes. His statistical performance, completing nearly 70% of his passes while surpassing 2,000 passing yards and maintaining a quarterback rating approaching 98, underscores his growth and ability to execute under pressure. For a quarterback who has faced numerous questions regarding his readiness and potential, Mac has answered with performance and poise, earning the respect of teammates, coaches, and evaluators around the league. Now, the Niners face a crucial decision. Do they trade Mac to accumulate draft capital, or do they retain him as a secure and cost-effective option at quarterback? The trade market for quarterbacks is always fluid, and teams in need of a signal caller will be closely monitoring his availability. A second-round pick, potentially paired with additional draft assets, could be a realistic return for Mac, allowing the Niners to further strengthen other areas of the roster while still maintaining flexibility in the draft. On the other hand, keeping Mac provides stability at a key position for a relatively low cap hit of just over $4 million, offering an opportunity to continue developing him within the Shanahan system and maximizing the team's competitive window. This dual-path scenario emphasizes the strategic challenge facing the front office as they balance immediate competitiveness with long-term planning. Alongside Mac, the Niners have other quarterback options in development. Curtis Rohr, the seventh-round pick out of Indiana, represents a promising project under Shanahan's tutelage. Recovering from injury, Rohr has the physical tools and throwing mechanics to potentially thrive within the offense, even if mobility is not his primary asset. Rohr's progression over the next season could provide the Niners with a solid backup or even a future starter, depending on how the quarterback situation unfolds. Shanahan's philosophy of developing quarterbacks extends beyond raw talent. It emphasizes understanding offensive schemes, reading defenses, and making quick, intelligent decisions under pressure. This approach has allowed players like Brock Purdy to flourish in past seasons, turning developmental quarterbacks into effective starters capable of leading the team to victories. The Niners front office must weigh all these factors as they assess trade opportunities, draft strategies, and internal development, recognizing that quarterback stability is a critical component of sustained success. Turning back to the defensive side, Robert Saleh's potential departure remains a significant consideration. If Saleh does decide to pursue a head coaching opportunity, the Niners will need to ensure that the defensive transition is smooth. Gus Bradley, currently assistant head coach of the defense, has the experience and institutional knowledge to step into the role seamlessly. Bradley's tenure as a defensive coordinator and former head coach equips him with the tools necessary to maintain continuity while adapting to the evolving needs of the roster. Additionally, internal candidates like KJ Wright, serving as defensive quality control coach, illustrate the Niners' focus on cultivating leadership from within. History has shown that internal promotions can yield exceptional results, as seen with previous coaches who advanced through the organization and eventually secured top roles elsewhere. Beyond coaching considerations, the defensive roster itself presents intriguing dynamics. The Niners have navigated injuries to key players, particularly Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, and yet have managed to field a competitive unit. Young players have stepped up, and the defensive schemes have adapted to maximize strengths while masking areas of weakness. The team ranks 15th in points allowed per game and maintains solid efficiency in the red zone, reflecting both strategic planning and effective execution by the players. Pass rush efficiency and run defense remain areas of focus, particularly as the Niners look to integrate off-season acquisitions and draft selections aimed at fortifying the front seven. The team's ability to pressure opposing quarterbacks while maintaining coverage discipline will be crucial to competing against elite offenses in the league. Meanwhile, the interplay between offense and defense cannot be understated. A well-coordinated defense creates opportunities for the offense to control the game, and vice versa. Mac Jones' development and the performance of the defensive unit under Saleh, or his successor, will define the team's identity moving forward. The synergy between offensive schemes, quarterback play, and defensive strategy is central to the Niners' approach to maintaining a competitive edge. Looking ahead to potential trades, the Niners must evaluate not just quarterback value, but also overall roster construction. Teams in need of quarterbacks, such as the Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers, and even the New York Jets, may enter discussions if Mac becomes available. Each franchise presents unique opportunities and challenges, depending on their roster composition, draft capital, and offensive philosophy. Trade discussions will hinge on Mac's performance metrics, his cap hit, and the potential for him to thrive in a new system. These considerations extend to contract negotiations and the possibility of re-signing Mac to a long-term deal that aligns with the team's financial structure and competitive goals. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing like never before. And if the whispers are true, the San Francisco 49ers have just pulled off a move that could redefine their defensive identity. Sources close to the team suggest that a major edge rusher, long linked with headline-grabbing free agent speculation, is reportedly set to sign with the 49ers. While the team has yet to confirm officially, insiders describe it as a blockbuster acquisition, one that pairs the incoming talent alongside none other than Nick Bosa, a combination that could send shivers through the rest of the league. Imagine the implications. Bosa, already widely regarded as one of the most disruptive forces on the edge, suddenly with a partner whose skill set complements his speed, power, and relentless motor. Analysts are already speculating that this duo could make opposing quarterbacks rethink every snap. The 49ers' pass rush, which has been formidable but sometimes inconsistent, could ascend to a level that borders on historic. Teams might have to game plan differently, double-teaming one or the other, and still face relentless pressure on every down. But the intrigue doesn't stop at the field. Social media has exploded with reactionary posts, mock rosters, and even viral highlight reels imagining the havoc this tandem could wreak. Fans of the 49ers are buzzing, some already imagining defensive lines that feel more like brick walls than formations. Rivals, meanwhile, are reportedly bracing for a new era of disruption, one that could change playoff dynamics and draft priorities across the board. Questions abound. How will the coaching staff rotate this new powerhouse with BOSA? Can they maintain stamina across long drives and high-stakes games? Will this push other teams into a bidding war for elite edge talent next season? The NFL rumor mill thrives on such uncertainty, and this story has all the makings of a narrative that could dominate headlines for weeks. For now, the city of San Francisco is buzzing, the fan base dreaming, and the rest of the league nervously recalculating. One thing is clear. If this signing goes through, the 49ers defense just entered a new stratosphere. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.